It's Halloween, so for the spooky season, I decided to finally play the horrifying, iconic cult classic of 2010, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Now, I know of The Dark Descent. Everyone knows of the first Amnesia. It was a game to change horror games in the 2010s. While everyone has praised it, I just kind of got here, so I want to throw in my own opinion as well. I proceeded to play through the main story, achieving all 3 endings, which wasn't that hard, and even played through the short but fun DLC titled Amnesia Justine. So I have to say, after hours of gameplay, this is one of the best horror game experiences I've ever had. Even though many might look at the game as not as 100% scary due to recent horror games nowadays, but that does not exactly mean it's not scary. The game had me on edge from time to time, especially the atmosphere and the sound design painting haunting images in my mind on what's really out there. Although I do remember when Amnesia first released, many players found the game to be truly one of the all-time scariest games ever made. I could not have imagined how horrifying it must have been to play this in a fresh way at launch without any severe competition like Alien Isolation or even Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. While I never played it until now, I did love the concept at the time of walking around a dark, monster-filled castle with only a lantern in hand. It was quite intriguing. However, if you're not familiar with Amnesia: The Dark Descent, it's a indie survival horror game developed by Frictional Games. Frictional Games is very much known for their work not only on The Dark Descent, but other games like Soma and the most recent successful entry, Amnesia: The Bunker. The Amnesia series is still to this day their most popular ongoing series consisting of 4 main games. Amnesia: The Dark Descent, before the later entries, actually took part in igniting the way forward for first-person horror games. To put into perspective or in comparison, it's kind of like the Nintendo Famicom game titled Sweet Home, which was revolutionary in 1989. Sweet Home debatably kickstarted the survival horror idea since it was not even considered a genre back in the day. Of course, there was going to be a remake of Sweet Home at some point that later mutated into something truly iconic. The survival horror game of 1996 that we all know and love dearly. However, as much as I love giving credit to Amnesia here as acting as one of the first, credit where credit's actually due, the first-person horror game was the title 3D Monster Maze in 1981, which revolved around cat and mouse elements involving a Tyrannosaurus Rex hunting down you, the player, in a maze. Pretty cool for the time, right? But, okay, seriously, when is Jurassic Park Survival releasing? Huh? I want my Alien Isolation inspired Jurassic Park dinosaur game, please and thank you. Because I do not see Dino Crisis getting a horror focus or horror heavy remake. Fast forward to 2010, Amnesia: The Dark Descent illuminated the path forward for many other first-person horror titles to march on becoming insanely popular over time. Some even expanded into larger franchises, rivaling that of AAA games. So kudos to the indie side of horror because, believe it or not, we technically would not be here without any of the talented folks out there who got the ball rolling. Okay, I know. Indie horror this, revolutionary game that. With all of that out of the way, let's get right into the game itself. As a heads up, I will not be spoiling anything beyond the first couple of levels, despite this being a 2010 game. I encourage people to go ahead and give it a chance if they have not already. Now, let us descend into the depths of one of the darkest and dankest castles ever to be explored in all of horror. Let's talk about the premise, the gameplay, and what I loved about Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
In a manner of speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
The story of Amnesia: The Dark Descent begins with a man named Daniel who awakens in a dark, dimly lit castle in the 1800s known as Brennenburg Castle. Daniel has, you guessed it, amnesia. Daniel, gathering his bearings, must slowly unravel what has happened, but not too long after his awakening, Daniel discovers a letter written to him, a letter from none other than himself.
19th of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brennenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
With a lantern in hand, tinderboxes in his pockets, Daniel proceeds forward to explore the castle's dark corridors as grotesque monsters lurk about getting in his way to the inner sanctum. As you might guess, the inner sanctum is far beneath the castle, so we must take a dark descent. Please don't leave, I beg of you. Similar to any cat and mouse game, you are no fighter, so hiding from monsters is your best solution. Do not be fooled though, Amnesia is still very much a survival horror game at its core. You have freedom in the dark descent to a certain extent, it's just not about walking around and hiding the entire time. Sure, there are no actual weapons, but you have your ways. You do have the lantern, which is indeed your most important defense against the darkness, not only to see clearly, but to maintain your sanity. You see, the monsters are not just the only dangers you'll be facing, darkness is not exactly your ally either. It's neutral. You might be able to hide in the darkness, but you can for sure be harmed mentally by the darkness like the monsters. In Amnesia, your sanity is a large game mechanic which can hinder you if you're neglecting it by standing in the darkness or staring at horrors beyond your human comprehension. In the dark descent, standing in the darkness or looking directly at monsters will lower your sanity, affecting your gameplay through on-screen visuals as well as movement. The best way to describe it is looking as if you're dizzy or severely drunk. These effects will fight against your movement, of course, which can be not so pleasant when being pursued by the monsters. Sometimes even roaches will crawl across your screen just to screw with your perspective too. If your sanity severely drops, you might start seeing the monsters, aka the gatherers, starting to appear. Will they kill you? Are they actually hallucinations? I'm not answering that question. That's up to you to experience and have fun with, if you consider that fun. If it proceeds to worsen, Daniel will collapse onto the ground before eventually picking himself back up. Now, how do I keep up my sanity? How do I keep my mental state from collapsing? Well, simple. You have your inventory, of course. Opening your inventory actually displays your health represented by your heart and your sanity represented by your brain. You will see visual changes depending on how much damage you've taken or how far gone you're becoming. there are 4 states for both your heart and brain to notify how severe the situation is concerning your survival. If your sanity looks like this, you should be worried. If you want to gain sanity back, using tinderboxes restores a small amount, blue flashes as you progress help as well, and lastly, using sanity potions, of course, will definitely be of great use. Speaking of tinderboxes, let's talk about the light sources you'll be utilizing throughout your journey into madness.
It sure is dark in here.
Yes, and there's a good reason for it. But you can light the lamp now if you wish.
What's the reason? For the darkness, that is.
Stay close. Be careful not to stray.
What's the reason? Why is it so dark?
Pay attention, Daniel. It's important that you keep going straight and make sure not to stray.
Like stated earlier, Daniel has a lantern equipped. The lantern does run off of oil, and you'll need to check every now and then to make sure you're not close to running out. The last thing you need is running out mid-chase before bumping around in the darkness. Most obviously, since this is survival horror, you will be collecting mini oil containers for refills and tinderboxes for your surroundings. You can always refill your lantern with the containers, yet the tinderboxes are great alternatives for igniting your environment indefinitely. I found it more useful using tinderboxes in the environment when you're in an area you're running back and forth through. Or maybe even when you're solving puzzles that consist of back and forth solving. I will add there are oil dispensers that can refill your lantern, sparing your precious oil in your inventory, but dispensers are not promised to be everywhere, so manage those expectations. As a heads up though, activating and deactivating your lantern constantly will not help you cheese your way through, avoiding your sanity plummeting, but nice try though. I don't think it's that hard to run out of tinderboxes because if smart, you can still have a good quantity at the beginning or even towards the end. Collecting tinderboxes and or oil bottles is rather fun since you can actually utilize the game's environment to the best of your ability. In Amnesia, you can pick up almost everything in the castle, moving around barrels or boxes, opening chests or cabinets. You'll be moving around objects in the game for the most part. So you better go ahead and take advantage of such a fun mechanic. You can and will probably be rewarded. Now don't worry about using them both 100% of the time, because the environment will play a part in lifting some of that stressful light management weight right off of your shoulders. From time to time, that is. Not every part of the Brandenburg Castle is drowned in darkness, you know.
You have an ascending room. Will it take us to the inner sanctum?
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of our journey. So, you have ridden an elevator before?
Yes, the Colosseum at Regent's Park has one. It takes you to the gallery where you can view the panorama.
Good. This ride might be a little longer, and in the other direction.
Now, if there's something I need a horror game to do right, it's the environment, music, and sound design. Amnesia: The Dark Descent clears all 3 of these extremely well. When I say Amnesia has the sauce of crafting a beautiful yet horrifying, unsettling atmosphere, you probably already know this. Seriously, if you play Amnesia: The Dark Descent for Halloween, wait until night to boot it up if you can while wearing headphones, or just in general whenever you do play it. You'll most likely have a more immersive experience. When I started walking the haunting castle halls, it already started elevating the gameplay for me. The wind howling, the groans of monsters, the sounds of tortured souls who were taken by the evil clutches of Brandenburg Castle. I just loved the world I was being pulled into. The sound design in the game carry a lot of the heavy lifting, if you ask me. Well, to a certain extent. You will hear why once you awaken right at the start. Even going insane has its own set of creepy sound effects that really keep you unnerved. Of course, there is one of the more appreciated elements of the game to which I enjoyed a lot of since it's a feature and one of my top favorite video games ever created, Bioshock. In Bioshock, because of the effects of plasmids, the powers you use in-game, you start to hallucinate events that happen in Rapture through the ghostly visuals of the citizens who lived in the city.
I'm too spliced up. Nobody's gonna want me.
These are in fact ghostly memories of citizens because plasmids have a mixture of human blood and a genetic substance called Adam, which is recycled throughout the city. I know that is creating a lot of questions in need of answers, but I hope to talk about Bioshock at some point because it's absolutely amazing. So in Amnesia, you'll constantly be experiencing similar events, like in Bioshock, except it's more audio focused. Instead, you listen to the echoes of not only you and Alexander, but the echoes of poor, unfortunate souls who did not have a pleasant time.
What's happening? Oh, feels like my chest is going to burst. Oh. My God, Wilhelm, do something!
Accept it. We're not getting out of here.
How can you say that? Alexander, you piece of shit! Let us out of here!
As the events play out through voices and sounds, your imagination begins to fill in the gaps as you look around at the visual aftermath, making it much more unsettling. It's something not entirely new nowadays, yet Amnesia executes it rather nicely. In addition to the sounds or the voices in the game, everyone who took part in the voice acting as well as the sound design, such as the monstrous sound effects, great job. Actually, seriously, excellent job. The game obviously would not work as effectively if it lacked the great vocal performances and insanely good sound design.
Daniel.
What?
Still having nightmares, I see.
Yes. I can't shake them. They come every night.
We'll put a stop to them. You'll see.
It kept the story going with no ounce of boredom on my playthrough. On a different note, as odd as it is to say because some might say it's super easy getting through, I absolutely love the feeling of getting shit done in-game. Excuse my language, but the manual approach to getting through the game's puzzles or obstacles to progress kind of feels similar to progression of a Resident Evil game. Progressing always feels great, it feels satisfying. Knowing how a puzzle works from a couple of seconds of thinking, because the game molded my mind early on to think a little outside of the box, feels satisfying. As soon as I started to figure out how the game wanted me to think in gameplay to solve the situations it threw you into, I was hooked. It always felt so nice to put two and two together to complete the task at hand. Especially when monsters are lurking about, adding on that horrific, anxiety-inducing edge. In the end, I believe Amnesia: The Dark Descent is indeed a scary, good time. Really spooky. No cheap jump scares to get a reaction out of you. Not every moment is filled with extreme amounts of blood and gore for the sake of shock value. Lastly, it felt like there was no overusage of the monsters, making them more effective when they do show up. Especially chasing you, because let me just say, hiding from them is intense, but being chased by them is anxiety-inducing. The chase music does not help either. Overall, nothing felt eye-rolling for the most part. I enjoyed my time exploring, evading monsters, seeking answers, unraveling a mystery. It all was a fun, extraordinary, amazing, memorable, bloody good time.
Bienvenue. You are now listening to the sound of my disembodied voice. It will serve you no purpose to look for me, for this is a voice from the past. I bid you welcome to my cabinet of perturbation. It is my study of the human psyche, specifically yours. A set of recordings have been prepared to chaperone you through the chambers ahead. There are a few parts to this study, and it is up to you, not only to pass, but to figure out what elements are important. Please go on. Move into the next chamber. Just remember, they can all be saved. There is always a way.
Before wrapping things up here, the video is not quite over yet. I need to talk minimally about the short, fun-sized DLC, Amnesia Justine. The DLC starts off where you play as a woman going through a choice-driven experience. It almost seems kind of Saw-inspired. I would say heavily so, with decisions that you have to make involving sparing or killing individuals.
Whoever you are, if you could help me, I would be much obliged.
Rise and shine, Adam. You're probably wondering where you are. I'll tell you what you might be. Might be the room that you die in.
Please be reasonable. You don't have to do this.
Without spoilers, you do have 3 endings, and all 3 are determined whether you're merciful, merciless, or somewhere in between. As short as it is, I found it quite intense actually. If you're going for the merciful ending, or have already, then you understand how intense the last portion of it can be. Man, those chase sequences never get old. If you're going for the merciful ending, or have, the only downside, which isn't one due to the size of the DLC as you can beat it in 10 minutes or so, is basically the fact that dying is an automatic return to the main menu. It might seem eye-rolling at first, but it actually offers great practice to understand how it all works. You have to pick and choose what you want to do. Who do you want to save? Who do you want to die? If you think the DLC has any direct ties to Daniel's story from the main game, it does not. It's very standalone, and humorously enough, it does feature no use of the lantern, where it's literally useless. You pick it up to escape the dungeon, never to use it again. No light source needed apparently. I guess there was no need in the lantern whatsoever. I just guess it was there to escape. Huh. Still, lantern, no lantern, Amnesia Justine is a fun playthrough. I actually kind of wish there was a bit more to it. Either way, I enjoyed it. I'm happy to have gave Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and many other games a chance after watching many rave about it back around its rise to popularity. Heck, Conan O'Brien even played it on Clueless Gamer.
Amnesia. Forgettable.
In conclusion, I will say Amnesia might be in my top 10 favorite horror games of all time. I mean, The Dark Descent had such a large effect that I decided to play the later entries in the series. I didn't love A Machine for Pigs, but I liked it somewhat. It was developed by a different team, so the lack of survival horror makes sense. As for Rebirth, I've yet to play it, but recently, before you're watching this video, or as you're watching this video, I did play and beat what is now most definitely in my top 10 favorite horror games of all time. Amnesia: The Bunker is absolutely amazing. And as much as I want to talk about it, I need to go ahead and wrap it up here, but seriously, play Amnesia: The Bunker. If you love immersive sims and survival horror games, that is what The Bunker is. It is truly amazing. It is scary, it is intense, it's pretty badass at times, it's pretty much almost perfect. After experiencing most of the Amnesia series, Frictional Games, I hope to see more from you down the line. After my experience with The Dark Descent, along with The Bunker, I crave more from your talented team. I'm truly grateful to have experienced these amazing entries. Happy 15th anniversary to Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Truly one of the best, most iconic indie horror games that illuminated the path forward for the future of first-person horror. Heyo there, if you stuck around until the end, thank you. I wanted to go ahead and say how much I appreciate the milestone I hit, having over 1,000 subscribers. I seriously cannot state enough how important it is to me, how much I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. The Resident Evil 9 Requiem breakdown video did far more amazing than I ever thought it would. I seriously did not expect it to surpass almost, or if not, all of my videos I made last year. Seriously, every video I made last year has been surpassed by it, and that's insane to me. As cringy as it is to say for some people, if you can, please hit the like and the subscribe button, because it'll help quite a lot. I know, the classic YouTuber saying, I would just love to take the channel somewhere with all of you. I cannot appreciate it enough with you awesome peeps. Seriously, all of you are to thank for supporting the channel and bringing it to its current state. So, I won't waste much more of your time, but do know I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful. Please have a happy Halloween, or Thanksgiving, or Christmas, or New Year's, depending when you're watching this. Anyways, time to wrap up the video. Thank you everyone so much for watching. And as always, I hope each and every one of you have a great and safe day. Thank you.